Hello, I'm Charlie Brooker and you're watching a Screenwipe special. I'm calling it a special because that sounds mildly more impressive than clip show, even though that's basically what this is. Anyway, throughout the series we've done lots of little reports looking at the ghastly backside of television, and this programme is essentially just a compilation of several of those. Anyway, don't let me undersell it. Let's get stuck in straight away with one of the first reports we ever did, looking at the outrageous amount TV costs to make. Television costs money. So much money it would make your head spin around. Even a programme like this, which is low budget in telly terms, costs around £47,667 per episode. £47,667 per episode. I don't believe you. Well, it does. Oh. And stop interrupting me. Sorry. Still, 47 grand, eh? Just imagine what you could do with that.
It's not enough to do something sensible with, but it's enough to do something silly with.
Or a car.
Clothes. Definitely give some money to charity.
Pay off my debts. Clothes.
Book a nice holiday. Get out of this country.
We should probably have just let them have it, to be honest. Anyway, outside the world of telly, that figure might seem astronomically high. So how does it break down? Well, even this sequence, in which all that's happening is I'm talking to you, this costs more than you might think. For starters, there's the camera guy. He's hired, together with all his equipment, from a facilities house. Furthermore, he's shooting on Digibeta, because it looks nicer than this. This is DV, which is cheaper and simpler to operate, but looks a bit bleary and grim by comparison. Oh, that's better. Anyway, the camera guy, the camera itself, and the sound man, cost around £850 a day. Here you go, you fleecing. Yeah, hope it chokes you. Then there's the rest of the production team to consider. We've got a series producer who keeps things all together, an assistant producer who assists him, 2 archive researchers who dig up old clips, another researcher who researches whatever it is that he does, a runner who has to fetch me a coffee every time I clap my hands. Run! A production manager who balances the books, a production coordinator who coordinates shit, and this man who we pay to stand in a corner of the office feeding banknotes into a shredder. Not now! And then finally there's me, the talent. Amazingly, this lot costs around £1,900 a day. Here you go, you useless sponging f***. Then there's the cost of post-production, i.e. an edit suite where we chop everything visual together and add filters like this, or this. Make the picture do things like this, or add graphics like this. Because that's the sort of thing you modern telly-watching whippersnappers demand nowadays. There's also an audio dub so we can add voiceovers and mix it all together properly so it doesn't sound rubbish like this. Next there's clearance. Let's say I want to show you a clip from an old episode of Clopper Castle.
I say. What goes up when the rain comes down?
I don't know. What does go up when the rain comes down?
An umbrella.
Well, that's copyrighted material which has to be paid for. Unless actually you're showing it for the purposes of criticism and review, in which case you can often use it for nothing. Unfortunately, I'm not criticising or reviewing that at all, which means that old puppet nonsense has just cost the production £500. And it's not just moving images we have to pay for. Simply by holding up this copyrighted photo of former Environment Secretary John Selwyn Gummer, I've cost the production another 50 quid. I don't even want to. Every time you see a photo like this in the background of a TV show, chances are someone has had to pay to clear it. And these are just the things you can see. Now, music. Actually, we save quite a lot of money here being on the BBC, thanks to their blanket agreement with the music industry. There's a lot of tunes that don't cost us anything. If I was on another channel, it might cost me a fortune to play, say, a bit of Sgt. Pepper. But this is the Beeb, so take it away, the Beatles. Weirdly, however, I can't show you the cover of Sgt. Pepper because they won't let us. I can, however, just throw it away, thereby blowing another £15 on a prop. And if I'm pissing the money away, I might as well push the boat out even further with another great picture of John Selwyn Gummer. Ooh, we're partying now! There are loads of other costs which are on your screen now if you're that bothered. Anyway, given how much our modest half hour sets the world back, imagine how much it costs to make something like this.
Oh, those are horses. Those are notoriously expensive. They insist on being driven to the set every day in individual cars. Madness. Wow, that's a courtroom. They had to build that 10,000 times actual size, apparently. And that judge's wig, that's not a wig, that's a rare orchid.
Yes, telly is a terrifyingly expensive business, so it's not surprising some shows try to claw back some of that cash any which way they can. If you'd like to hear some of the shocking ways TV tries to claw your money back, then phone the number on screen now. In the meantime, the rest of us will have a look at this next thing, which is about how to get your ideas on the box. Lots of people wonder how to get their ideas on the telly, so here's an upbeat little guide to why, if you're lucky, that'll never happen, and if it does, it'll be a nightmare. First of all, let's assume this man represents your idea.
Now, if it's possible to showcase your idea live or on the internet, then for God's sake do that before you even think about letting anyone in telly get their hands on it. If it succeeds, they'll beat a path to your door.
But say it's not practical or possible to do that, well, what else can you do?
Your best bet is to get a job in TV and after several months slaving in lowly positions, try to bag a job in development. Of course, the company you're working for has to make money to survive, so rather than creating anything worthwhile, you'll be working up an endless stream of shit ideas they hope will be an easy sell. Eventually, you throw caution to the wind and introduce your idea to your fellow creatives, and against the odds, they love it! Having boiled your idea down to a capsule description a child could understand, you approach your first port of call. You outline your idea to a commissioning editor and stone the crows he likes it. Well, sort of, because he also suggests a few changes. But they seem reasonable enough, so you incorporate them as best you can, then sit back and wait for a response. And you wait and you wait and you wait, and eventually you're told the commissioning editor has left, and his replacement reckons this whole cowboy hat thing renders the entire idea useless. Still under pressure to sell, you take your idea to a funky rival channel notorious for dangerous cutting-edge content. Here, another commissioner suggests it be fronted by up-and-coming comic Barry Shitpeas.
What about Barry?
Because he's being groomed as a future face of the channel. A few evenings later, you and Barry hook up for an evening to discuss the idea. He's got plenty of suggestions, every single one of which makes you want to vomit so hard your guts fly out your mouth and hit him in the eye, but instead you nod like a bitch. You work his changes into your original pitch, like the snivelling whore you are, and represent it to Captain Burstrings. Brilliant, he says, and informs you there's a commissioning round coming up and your idea's definitely on the shortlist. Once again, you wait and wait and wait and wait and wait until an email arrives telling you they decided to go with something completely different. By now, months have passed and your original idea is looking a bit stale, so in a pathetic bid to spruce it up, you work in some stupid fad you read about in a magazine that afternoon and take it to yet another channel, this time a major commercial hitter. They won't even consider it without a major name attached, so it's out with Barry Shitpeas and in with Ant and Dec. They also want to make your idea accessible to their imaginary audience of idiots, but by now you've lost so much dignity you're in a trance, so you just concur and nod and do as they say. That evening you have a nightmare in which you crouch in an alley giving blowjobs for pennies while the theme from This Is Your Life plays in the background. What could it possibly mean? It's still troubling you the next day as you sit in reception alongside someone with a similar idea which looks slightly better than yours. Finally, you're told, sorry, they've spent their budget for this round, there's no more slots, and they're trying to go up market, and your idea's just a bit too dumb. By now, your job's on the line, the execs are screaming at you, and you don't give a f*** anymore about anyone or anything. So you call on some obscure satellite channel you've never even heard of and try and flog it to them. Here you're asked to literally rub shit all over your idea and turn it into a vehicle for some reality TV star.
But it's not even an idea you recognise anymore, and that's not the only problem.
No, because you've also got to cut all the best bits out of your idea because they want 150 episodes and they've only given you a budget of 27 pence. Worse still, you can't hire enough staff, so everyone involved in making it has to work insane hours that make them cry around the clock and despise you. Congratulations, you've become an exploitative telly scumbag. Eventually, your bastardised, rehashed idea finally makes it on air, at which point everyone who tunes in thinks it's shit!
Oh, don't believe it. Get off that fucking telly! Don't fucking waste my money!
Inevitably, the ratings crash through the floor, and then to cap it all, some smug, dough-faced Lawrence Fishburne lookalike on BBC 4 rips it apart using selective footage and witlessly puerile so-called criticism.
At the end of the day, this programme's a load of shit thought up by and there lies your idea, dead as a dodo's doornail, messed around, shat on and despised. Was it ever any good to start with? Doesn't matter, because you will never, ever know. And that's exactly how TV works. People think television's a glamorous industry to work in, but is it really? Is it really? Is it really? Really, is it? Is it really?
When I was a runner, I got called into my exec's office. He asked me to come to his desk, turn around and face the window, which I did so for half an hour. As I was leaving, I realised the fucker had used me as a sunblock to block out the sun from hitting his computer screen. I mean, what a prick.
It's funny because it's true. Anyway, earlier we saw just how hard it can be to get your ideas on TV. Now, assuming you managed to clear all those hurdles, your problems aren't over. No, they are just beginning. Making a television programme, absolutely any television programme, is easy. As easy as falling off a log. Actually, it's not. Even shooting that little bit, in which all I had to do was fall off a log, was a far bigger ache up the backpipe than you might imagine.
First of all, we had to pick a location for the log scene.
We could have shot it in the street, but that's a pain for various reasons. You have to inform the police you're doing it. There's lots of random street noise, which tends to things up. And worst of all, which is often fatal.
Hans!
Oh, and members of the public tend to call you a ponce.
Speaking of members of the public, it's a good job we didn't decide to illustrate this piece with pointless vox pop interviews like this. What's it like being a member of the public? What? Because we have to get them to fill out a release form giving us permission to broadcast the footage. We also have to position the camera so we don't give undue prominence to shop fronts, and make sure he removes that stupid baseball cap with a bloody great logo on the front of it. Actually, using members of the public is such a pain, we decided to cheat and use one of our researchers instead. Look, there he is in the pilot we made earlier this year. Loads of productions do this. We're only telling you about it because we're so bloody postmodern. We're about to cut to a shot of me typing these words into the script itself.
Anyway, back to the log, and to avoid all that nonsense, we decided to shoot this bit in a park. Battersea Park, to be precise, which meant getting permission from Wandsworth Council and buying a log, obviously. But before I can get on and fall off it, we had to do a health and safety check. Yes, even falling off a log can be dangerous, so before we turned up in the park, our production manager had to fill out a form detailing all the potential risks involved. Health and Safety insisted on this crash mat, which means before we can shoot anything, the director and the cameraman have to hold an interminable bloody discussion about how to frame the shot so that it isn't visible. For f***'s sake, will the Right, we've been here for over 3 hours now. We've decided we're going to paint out the crash mat using a computer in the edit. Anyway, assuming the light and the weather holds, which they very rarely do, I'm finally ready to fall off the log.
At which point the battery runs out, because equipment hate human. Equipment want revenge.
Meanwhile, I've been standing here so long, my revolting skin is starting to shimmer with sweat, so the makeup artist has to come in and touch me up while I make small talk with her. How are you, yeah? Do a lot of makeup, do you? How's the makeup business? How is it, yeah?
Finally, after several passes, we think we've got it in the can, which is just as well because the light's fading, but the real fun's only just beginning.
Yes, because here in the edit suite, joy upon joys, when we find the bit we need, the boom's in shot, so it's useless. Actually, to be honest with you, the boom wasn't in shot. We were supposed to film a bit where the boom was in shot, but we genuinely forgot. So we had to go through the rigmarole of filming a boom against a background and comping it into a shot for this shot. What a pain in the arse. Anyway, given the number of obstacles involved, little wonder that TV can take an age to make. Exactly how long that age is depends very much on the type of TV you're making.
Studio-based shows are generally quickest, as it's an environment designed to make the process as free of random elements as possible. A violently dispiriting talky bumcast like the Jeremy Kyle Show, or a cheapo Open the Boxes quiz, can shoot several episodes in a single day. A non-studio comedy, such as A-list Lovey Fest Extras, might manage to bag 5 minutes in the can, while a flashy cinematic hour-long drama like Casanova can expect to eke out a mere 3 minutes a day. 3 minutes a day! It's like pushing a pea up Ben Nevis with your nose.
Yes, the sorry truth is that while TV may look simple on the face of it, behind even the simplest bit of fluff lurks a huge logistical nightmare and hour upon hour of back-breaking toil. Although fortunately not for us presenters, we just get weighted on hand and foot. What the hell is this? I said I wanted a diet drink, you come and bring me a load of sugar-packed shit. What the f*** is wrong with you? How dare you? Actually, how dare you? Actually, how dare you? How dare you do this to me? This is a f***ing insult. Where did we find you anyway? I don't recall taking an advert out in Cretin Monthly, Burke Today. I'm going to talk to you like this for an hour, because that's what you deserve. OK? You're fired. You're fired from London. Just get out.
One production company I used to work for, the executives used to make us come in early for a team meeting and have a big discussion about our professional and personal goals for the day.
I'm going to pull all my ideas together and really get that TV idea ready for the Channel 4 daytime pitch. My aim this week is I'm going to pull out all the stops and I'm going to really go for it and get some top name guests for our new chat show.
This week I really want to help my team facilitate all their aspirations, which I think we didn't quite reach them last week.
I mean, I can't believe the crap we used to make up to please the fucking executives.
That was awful. I really want you to try harder.
And at the end of the discussion, we would have to recite the company's mission statement, which was, our commitment at the company is to be part of something extraordinary. We are committed to working with each other
to make the company an exciting and dynamic place to work.
We are committed to the company being a place where creativity can flourish and where we can support each other in fulfilling our dreams. I mean, for fuck's sake.
You know what? Get your face on the telly often enough, even on a niche digital station like this one, and before long your life changes beyond all recognition. Suddenly, strangers gawp at you in the street. They approach you in bars.
You fucking telly prick!
And obviously, since you're now blessed by the gods of telly, you're suddenly fending off potential sexual partners with a stick.
That hasn't happened in my case, obviously, because I've got a face like a paedophile walrus. Still, those are just the minor perks. The most important thing that happens is you're not Mr. Nobody anymore. You're the talent. That's your job description now. The talent. Talent being one of those horrible modern catch-all phrases like product or content that make you want to punch people the minute you hear them. Anyway, talent is what you are, and like all talent, you're doomed to lose your mind. Here's why.
It starts slowly. One day in between takes, a runner comes over to ask whether you need anything.
Can I get you a chair or something?
No, really, I'm fine.
Sure, I can fetch you one if you need one.
God, this is weird. It's like being waited on.
No, really, I mean, if I need one, I can get one.
It's no problem, I'll get it.
Oh no, look, she's asking the makeup girl to move. Oh, this is just embarrassing. Oh.
Here you go.
Thanks. Oh, comfy.
How about a coffee?
No, really, I'm fine.
It's no trouble.
OK. Black, no sugar?
OK.
Oh, I could do with a chair. Oh, hang on. How come she gets a chair? I can't just ask her to move, or can I? Oh, I know.
Sorry, I couldn't get a chair, could I?
Sure.
Yeah, that's it. Go and get me a chair. Yeah, f*** you, you makeup bitch. Shift your ass.
Cheers, sweet tits. Could you get me a coffee as well, please? Black, no sugar.
Yeah.
I wonder if I'll get to sleep with her before the end of the run.
You off, get the f*** off my chair. Where's my f***ing coffee? Where is it? Where's my f***ing coffee? Come on, where's my f***ing... Oh, right, OK. Only a f***ing 20 minutes late. What the f*** is this, you stupid f***ing prick tease? Where'd you get that from? Is that coffee or piss? What did you do, squirt it through one of your diseased others? You f***ing bitch. You are fired. You are fired from f***ing London. You are fired from f***ing life. You make...
Little wonder the TV world is full of horror stories involving talent.
One time I was working as a researcher on a cooking show, and one of the celebrity chefs, no names mentioned, had a real reputation for being a slimy bastard and was constantly flirting with all the production team. This one time, I remember after one of the shows, me and a runner were clearing up and just chatting away and stuff, and he came up behind us with a baguette in between his legs and started waving it around, and then he started wanking the baguette. Then he picked up a carrot and started giving it a blowjob right in front of us. We stood there watching him for a minute and then just carried on clearing up and chatting. And after a while, he just put the baguette and the carrot down and just left silently. I mean, what a cock.
TV today is chock-a-block with special effects like this amazing one you're seeing now. But for my money, the most significant technological advances have actually taken place behind the scenes in the world of editing.
Video editing used to be a fairly cumbersome process, more difficult than film, which you could easily slice up with razor blades.
Consequently, in ye olden days, there was often more vision mixing than editing. Indoor scenes would be shot in a studio using several cameras, and the director would cut between them, creating an edit on the fly. Exterior scenes used to be shot on 16mm film because it was easier to edit. That's why a lot of old shows, especially comedies, had such a different feel whenever they cut to an outdoor location.
That's an effect that will be familiar to anyone who remembers the peerless Fawlty Towers. True to subversive form, Monty Python even used it as the basis for a very clever sketch.
Gentlemen, I have bad news. This room is surrounded by film. What?
Things changed in the early 90s when hard disk editing arrived to excite this edition of Tomorrow's World.
I can see all the shots here on this screen and they're instantly accessible. And over here on this one, this is where you build up your edited report. You can swap shots over or change them for other ones really easily.
This was a bit like the leap from typewriters to word processors. Suddenly it was a piece of piss to chuck in one edit after another.
The logical conclusion is the hyper-edited bombardment you get in frenetic MTV dating shows like this.
It's also enabled reality shows to exist because now it's possible to go through 24 hours of footage and condense it down to 1 hour of highlights in time for transmission the next day.
Of course, the pressure of time and the need to tell a story means you often end up with a crude caricature of real life, a condensed bullet point version of events that can be easily manipulated to tell almost any story you like. To demonstrate this, we decided to make our own reality show in miniature. Day 1 in the Screenwipe house. The first flatmate to arrive is children's entertainer Jim Bob.
Oh, wicked.
Next in is runner from previous Screenwipe series, Louise.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Jim Bob.
Jim Bob, I'm Louise.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
Misanthropic TV presenter Charlie is the third flatmate to enter the Screenwipe house.
It's a bit awkward, isn't it?
Yeah.
Should we have a drink?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Last to arrive, glamour model Agony Aunt and DJ Ashleen.
Hello. Hello, I'm Charlie, hello. What we've ended up with is hours of fairly nondescript footage of us all standing around and jabbering.
It's shot from 3 angles, here, here and here. And we've also got interviews in which each of the flatmates say what they thought of each other. Using these ingredients, we can tinker to an absurd degree.
If we want, we can hunt through it for moments where it looks like Ashleen's flirting with me, as well she might.
Here's one. Here's another one. Oh, and here's another. Oh, she bloody wants me.
Or we could just cherry-pick the moments where it looks like she's not that impressed at all. That's just highlighting a particular aspect. If we want, we can be more devious than that. For instance, here, I get away with telling a pretty lame joke. What's red and invisible?
I don't know.
No tomatoes. But if we want, we can join the start of that moment to another moment that actually happened later on, and suddenly I seem to die on my arse. What's red and invisible?
I don't know.
No tomatoes. We can also use one piece of footage to illustrate 2 completely different points. For instance, here's a shot of me talking and them listening. Doesn't tell you much, but if we run it in conjunction with a positive sounding soundbite, suddenly it takes on a different meaning.
And he's quite attractive in a kind of weird, quirky way. He's very engaging. You know, he captures your attention. Quite like that.
And if we change that soundbite, well, suddenly the meaning changes with it.
God, where to start? It just goes on and on and on and on, and he just takes everything out of context and onto a whole different tangent, and it's just like, yabba, yabba, yabba.
We can use these techniques to tell almost any story we want. We can make it look as though Ashleen's bored of me, or we can take 2 shots that happen sometime apart and combine them to make me look like a lecherous scumbag.
Of course, that's all artifice. In reality, Aisling and I have been married for 2 years and are very, very much in love.
Ever and ever, forever and ever, you'll be the one that shines on me like the morning sun.
All right, that's a lie as well. We had to pay her just to turn up. And even then, we had to prop a picture of Richard Madeley up in her eye line so she could pretend it was him she was hugging and not me. God, I don't know what it is. The pussy loves that Madeley. So I can't say that.
One time I was working on this programme that involved a lot of air travel, and the routes that we were travelling didn't have a facility to go first or business class. So the deal was that the presenter was going to have to go economy. But apparently the presenter wasn't used to going economy at all. So next time we came in for a meeting, I had to recreate the airline seating plan in our office, just so we could make sure that the presenter would be comfortable when travelling economy. I mean, it was ridiculous. I literally had these boxes of paper around his feet. He's only 5'4". Talk about a fucking Napoleon complex.
Have you ever watched the end credits of a programme and wondered what all those people actually do? Well, no, nor have I, but apparently they do this.
Heads you win, tails you lose. You pay your dues, 'cause that's what it's all about. Break or bust, cake or crust, yeah, that's life. Some make hay, some make do. It's up to you to stand up or crawl about. Sure it's rough, sure it's tough, but that's life. Most of us live lives of folly, smiling through thin and thick. One or two may get the lolly, while others are left simply holding the stick. State your case, make your pitch. Life's a bitch if you let it get to you. That's your lot, it's all you got. It's the name of the game. Yeah, that's life. Heads you win, tails you lose. You pay your dues, 'cause that's what it's all about. Break or bust, cake or crust, yeah, that's life. Some make hay, some make do. It's up to you to stand up or crawl about. Sure it's rough, sure it's tough, but that's life. Most of us live lives of folly, smiling through thin and thick. One or two may get the lolly, while others are left simply holding the stick. State your case, make your pitch. Life's a bitch if you let it get to you. That's your lot, it's all you got. It's the name